we'll be discussing core issues from different political landscapes. We'll take a look at Oyo State, marking day to reveal successor's name in January 2026. We'll take a look at Ondo State as well, NNPP governorship candidates running mates suspended. And I'm talking about alleged sexual harassment. LND backs probe into saga involving Akpabio Natasha. On 2027, Tinubu must complete 8 years, says Kalu. We're open for adverts placement, news and events coverage, personality, society and political interviews, products, service promotion and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we return, I will introduce a guest and dive right into the stories. To stay with us.
Management and staff of Morrison Media Group presents the 2025 anniversary lecture of Atlantic Television Network and Wish 99.5 FM. Theme: Imperative of Private Media in Sustainable Development.
Keynote speaker, Professor Tony Iradia, erudite scholar and broadcast guru. Chairman, Professor Umar Kart, President, Society of Broadcasters, Nigeria, and Vice Chancellor, Federal University of Kashiri, Gombe State. Panelists, Chief Honorable Arthur C. Kalabo, Information and Communication Expert. Dr. Harker Dwight, Lecturer, Public Relations, Media and Communication. Dr. Bekwele Lawrence D.K., Lecturer, Marketing Communication and Public Relations. Opaka Dakuba, Chairman, South-South, Nigerian Union of Journalists. Susan Serekara Nwikana, Chairperson, Nawa State. Chief Host, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, Esquire, FSM, FIMC, FNIMN, MIPA, MIPPA, Chairman, Morrison Group. Date, 10th of March 2020.
0802 301 5728. That is 0802 301 5728 or info@atlanticnetwork.tv or info@wishfm995ph.com. You can also call Laurentia Ogu on 0818 344 6746. That is 0818 344 6746 or lead content at atlanticnetwork.tv. This is signed by management.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people.
Many thanks for joining us. You're watching ATN Politics on Atlantic Television Network. And joining us live in the studio today to discuss ATN Politics is Comrade Kingsley. He's a politician, a technocrat, as well as a public affairs analyst. Good evening, Comrade Kingsley, and welcome to ATN Politics today.
Thank you, madam.
How are you doing?
Oh, good, good.
All right. Well, let's dive right into our stories for today. We begin with Oyo State. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has announced that he will reveal his preferred successor in January 2026. Makinde made the statement on Monday during the 11th Omituntun Ramadan lecture at the Government House Arcade in Ibadan, the state capital. The lecture, titled Benefits of Being a Good Neighbor, an Islamic Perspective, was delivered by Yunus Teliat, the Grand Chief Imam of Ogbomo land. Addressing attendees in Yoruba, he expressed gratitude to Muslim leaders for their support and urged them to continue praying for his administration. He also made a light-hearted remark directed at socialite Abbas Oloko, asking him not to remove his billboard at Ishale Alfa, as the image of his chosen successor would be displayed there in January 2026. The governor called on Muslims to use the Ramadan season to promote peaceful coexistence regardless of religious differences. Makinde, who was re-elected in 2023 and is ineligible for another term, has previously stated that he will have a say in his successor. In October 2024, while receiving a report on public service reforms, he declared that he would influence the choice of the next governor, particularly within the PDP. So those people that are campaigning to be the next governor still have to wait, because I still have till May 29, 2027. And I also have a say in who is going to become the next governor, Makinde said. I may not have my way. It's Oyo State people that will decide, but I will have a say, especially those in PDP will have me to contend with, because I'm still the one controlling the structure. Wow, quite interesting. Comrade Kingsley, I'd like to get your take on this, as Makinde is saying that he's going to reveal the next person to contend for the 2026 governorship election in Oyo State. And he's saying that he has a say in whoever, or in the next person that is going to be the governor. Does this really mean that other parties who would want to contend for this position do not have a say, or do not eligible to contest for this position, looking at, again, what actually took place in River State? I want you to couple that to this.
Okay, you won't take it away from him. It's not because he's a governor, so he shouldn't be part of who is going to succeed him.
All right.
You agree with me that if he's not the governor for your state, he will still have a say. Of course, when it comes to election period, he's as good as an electorate too. I mean, he's a voter. He votes, of course. So he will have to vote who he wants to be the next governor, or whoever wants to seek any elective political office. He has to vote. So as a governor, he should have a say. Being a governor does not exempt you from, having a say too.
So let's differentiate between having a say and pushing someone for the people.
If you listen to what he said, he was very careful about the words, or the word he chose, to represent his intention.
Okay.
He said Oyo people will have the final say. He made it clear Oyo people will be the one that will decide what actually happened, but he should have an influence. I mean, that's a fair language if you ask me. He's not saying he's going to impose, his candidate on anybody, but like, oh, I'm in PDP. Yes. Who is going to be my successor? This man. Yes. I agree with him. What is wrong with that? But you see, at the end of the day, he made us understand as well that your people will have the final say. That's like what you just said. There are other political parties in that place. So he's not an autocratic governor. He's not a military governor that will just bring in somebody and say this person should succeed. No, but he's going to influence it, which is expected in politics. If you look at the River State thing, like you just mentioned, it's the same thing. And the truth be told, the real truth be told, there is nobody that is in leadership that wants to go out and wouldn't want somebody who has been faithful to him or her, not to succeed him. To the best of your knowledge and ability, you want to work towards that and you want to make it come to pass. But that's not to say you have the final say, but I agree with him.
Okay, even though he hasn't revealed who the successor is, again, do you think, I also understand that he is an electorate as well, but do you think that he's not trying to push this person, because there's a comment he made there that he had the PDP to contend with. He also asked one person like that to remove his signboard from a particular area where he has a signboard, that his successor signboard will be there. Again, don't you think he's trying to push the person on the people?
Well, if you look at that statement that the PD people will have to contend with him, that's a fair language too. What do I mean?
Okay.
There's always a primary to bring who is going to fly the flag of the party, and in that primary, sometimes you don't have a consensus agreement. You understand? And by and large, he will have a seat to it, because if they are not going to have a consensus agreement, he should belong to a party or a part of the party he belongs to, which is PDP, that will be pushing for certain persons. So he's not out of point if he says people will, the people in his own party will have to contend with him on that. And then for that other one, he talked about the billboard. If you look at the statement, it was in the Ramadan kind
period.
of yeah. So I think it was just it's a joke in any case. Like he's trying to let this man know where you cite this thing is very important, and people are it's a strategic place rather. So, and I want to use that strategic place because that man, the person he was referring to, is not a politician in any case, but this is a joke, and at the same time saying I love where this thing is cited and I saw it and I want to take advantage of it. That's just what I think is the meaning of that statement.
Oh, quite interesting. He also made good remarks as regards the Ramadan we're talking about, because they just started their fasting on Saturday and of that. What would you also make of this remark too?
Well,
for the Muslims faithful.
Yes, if you don't belong to one spiritual faith, you belong to the other. He belongs to the Muslim spiritual faith, so he's a committed person, if you ask me, and he's also part of what they are doing. So he's on the right track if he made a good remark about that. As to that, in any case, that's expected. If he didn't, I mean, they should suspect him if that's his faith in any case. So
okay, it's a good one actually. All right, so let's take a look at NNPP now. New Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, has suspended its candidate in the November 16, 2024 governorship election in Ondo State, Olubenga Edema, and its running mate, Rotimi Adeyemi. Edema and Adeyemi were suspended indefinitely along with the chieftain of the party, Israel Ayeni, during the party State Working Committee, SWC, in Akure, the state capital. According to the NNPP chairman in the state, Pastor Peter Olagokun, the suspension followed their purported involvement in anti-party activities, as well as violation of the constitution of the party. Olagokun further stressed that the Edema took the party to court without exhausting the party's internal resolution mechanism. The chairman of the party hinged the SWC decision on suing in the name of the party without recourse of the appropriate stakeholders at both the state and national levels. According to their party constitution. All right, Comrade Kingsley, here is Adema been suspended alongside with Olagokun. Yes, Olagokun. So they have been suspended with regards to anti-party activities and the rest. I would like to get your take on this one.
Well, if you read very well from those lines, you know, the reason for the suspension is one, the anti-party; two, they were not able to exhaust the internal crisis resolution mechanism, you know, which every party, you know, has. Every individual party has that mechanism to, you know, look at issues on ground, party-wise, before you go outside the party structure, party terrain. But in this case, from what the chairman is saying, the NNPP party chairman is saying, is that you didn't allow this mechanism to function, you know, so that you have an advantage or disadvantage, and then you say you are counting on this to go out. Maybe they didn't treat your matter well, or rather it was not really looked into, then you can go out. But in this case, you refused doing that. So that's why they call for that suspension. And perhaps they must have done an in-depth findings and found out that there was an anti-party activity, by these persons, and that's why they suspended them in any case.
Okay, so for Adedema to take this case, to take the case of the internal wranglings they have in the NMPP party to court, is there I don't know how the word for it now to put it, but is there, does it mean that he's not supposed to take this to court? Does he not have the right to challenge any internal wrangling or crisis he has or they have in the party? Does he not have the right to take it to court or to challenge the matter in court?
This is not about rights in any case, because the reason for the suspension didn't state that he didn't have right. And we all know that to a large extent, you just have to exhaust the first thing first, which is the party mechanism for resolving these issues. But it is only on that ground, when you have done all of this and you are not able to achieve what you want to achieve, whether it is personal or not, but you have tried, you didn't, that's when you can go out. Nobody's saying that it's not his right. He has the right.
But they also state there the reason of the suspension as taking the matter to court, even when it's not been resolved internally.
No. They said he didn't, if you look at that statement very well, that he did not allow that mechanism to exhaust its
before taking it to court.
Before taking it.
Now, that's what I'm asking. It doesn't mean that he's not supposed to take it to court. Probably if he senses that, okay, the internal mechanisms are not going to do justice to it,
well,
before taking it to court.
Mr. Peter, there is something you need to understand in this whole thing. You don't use sentiment and mere assumption or just feeling, to analyze the situation up front and then now take a resolute decision to take on an action. You don't do that. You have to do it so that, because at the end of the day it goes to the law. Where are you taking to? It's to the law. Do you use spiritual matters? I mean, you say you're holding something in your hands and then you're telling your lawyer or the chief judge that this is what I'm holding in my hands, whereas they are not seeing anything. No, everything has to do with reality. They do with facts and findings, the things that are real that they can see, the things that are the causes of, whatever has happened. This is why I did this, this is why I didn't do that. Practical things they can see and not just a mere say. And if you want to say anything, you must defend it beyond reasonable doubt. So if you have not, if the party chairman is saying that you have not exhausted this mechanism, that means that they are expecting that even though you have started, it should get to the point where everybody should say, okay, this cannot go, that cannot go. For instance, take for the PDP thing, for instance, they agreed these people should continue their tenure, that is the Demagogue should continue their tenure, and at some point they are coming out again to say no, Demagogue should go. At this point, it's difficult for them to resolve it internally. So the legal institution has to come in here to let them know that if you have agreed that this is how we want it to be, it's a binding thing on you people. How can few of you suddenly wake up again and say you don't agree again? When you agree, it was everybody. Now you don't want to agree, it's few persons. Whatever the case may be, you have to look at it holistically. That's where I'm going to look at it holistically. Don't look at it from just your own feeling alone. Just look at it from the whole cycle of it.
Okay, the thing is, we're just even getting the statements from the party. We've not heard from Dedema himself.
Yes, that's it.
To actually know his own stance and his own opinions. But then, do you also think that, okay, in your opinion, what do you think he would have done in terms of, instead of going to the court, what do you think he would have done?
Frankly, he should have exhausted those peace resolving mechanism in his party. There is no institution that will run without a principle or guideline, and you must very well get acquainted with it and work with it. You understand? So I believe, like you said, we've not had his own part. Yes, we're only just deliberating on the part that we have actually had.
From the official
by the time he will tell you his own part. Perhaps, like you said, he may have also made efforts and maybe some persons try to block him, because things like that happen. They may just try to frustrate him, and out of frustration and nowhere to go, he will just be like, okay, let me take it out, let me just shout so that people will know what is happening. You can't take that away from him too, in any case. But otherwise, my opinion should have been that he should have exhausted, this their peaceful, resolute, mechanism before going out.
Okay, so do you also think that suspending these individuals, is justifiable? Are there substantive reasons? Looking at the reasons they are giving now, are they substantive enough to get them suspended?
Well, if indeed, I said if indeed he didn't, sit back and finish this thing in the party as it were, at the party level, if he didn't follow case
Suspend.
at to be here, no, they are turbulent and all of those trouble. I think they should have just, mellowed down and then look at other ways to resolve the issue instead of scattering this whole thing. Because if this man gets angry, he has his own people that will follow him. Before you know what's happening now, you begin to look for other parties to join, and that's
defection starts.
Yes, that is arming his own party.
All right. Well, quite interesting. Well, let's take a look at issue of alleged sexual harassment by a senator. League of Northern Democrats, LND, have backed calls for an independent probe into the alleged sexual harassment saga involving the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. The Northern Group recommended that a neutral body such as the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, or a special parliamentary ethics committee should conduct the probe. It also called for Akpabio to step down as Senate President to allow for an unhindered investigation of the allegations and advocated for public disclosure of findings and appropriate legal action based on the outcome of the investigation. Akpoti-Uduaghan caused a controversy last week after she accused Akpabio of sexual harassment, which led to counter-accusations and the legal action initiated by Akpabio's wife. The allegations have led to calls for independent investigation by the Arawa Consultative Forum, ACF. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Senate President Abubakar Bukola Saraki, reacting also LND through its spokesperson Dr. Laden Salihu, demanded a firm commitment from the Senate leadership to uphold ethical standards and prevent future abuses of power within the institution. The LND spokesperson, who described the allegations against Akpabio as gravely concerning, added that the situation has transcended personal disputes and now directly affects the credibility, stability and effectiveness of the Nigerian Senate, an institution critical to national governance and democracy. At a time when Nigeria is grappling with insecurity, economic hardship, and widespread governance failures, it is unacceptable for the leadership of the Senate to be embroiled in scandals that divert attention from national progress. He also called a national discourse on ethical governance to ensure that issues of gender-based discrimination and abuse of office are addressed through policy and legislative reforms. The Nigerian Senate must recognize that its primary responsibility is to serve the people, not to be consumed by personal conflicts and scandals. Well, Comrade Kingsley, I believe you must have followed this development right from the start.
The issue has been right in the public domain. So it's not a new thing to anybody. You see, this issue, in fact, the first question is, why are they asking that Akpabio should be probed in the Senate on this matter?
Don't you think he should be probed?
The question is the issue on ground. Does it have anything to do with the Senate's transaction?
Well, there are allegations made by Natasha.
Even the allegation has nothing to do with the Senate's running.
He's been asked to to take a moment to step aside from the seat.
That's what I'm saying.
So that he can be probed.
Yes.
I mean, looking at the personnel that he is in the National Assembly. So he is a person of high standard and value that so much is requested from. So if we are having such allegations, that's what I'm asking. Don't you think he's supposed to step down and be probed for it, just to get the facts?
You see, I don't want to join heads or join this media circulating news the way they are peddling it. The first question, like I asked, it has nothing to do with the Senate. In my opinion, it's not a case of stealing that you say there is money missing in the Senate, so the man is sitting on the findings that nobody should find out. So you can ask him to excuse that seat so we find out. It's not a case of misappropriation or whatever that has to do with the Senate. This is a case that is far, that is not even near to the Senate. Now, you want to link it to, hold on, you want to link it to his personality. That's where you're dragging it in, that's his personality. Is it his personality that is transacting business on the Senate ground? If he leaves the Senate, does he not have a personality? If he's not a president of Senate or just a Senate member, does he not have personality? Even you here, you have personality. So what I'm saying in a nutshell is that this case should be the case that they should be talking about in the Hallowed Chamber, I mean the courtroom. That's where this whole thing should be playing out. If Akpabio is the judge of the case, then you can ask him to step down, because he cannot be a judge of his own case, not in the Hallowed Chamber. And by the way, it's an allegation. It's what do you call it now? It's just a word without a proof yet. You understand what I'm saying now? So if Akpabio tells you that, okay, I'm burdened by too many things because I'm running the Senate presidential seat, I'm running Senate affair, and here is another, social family issue. Please, Senate, excuse me, let me go and handle it. Then that can be. That will have to come from Akpabio, excuse me. But not like you are telling him to step down. Okay, if he steps down, will they come to the Senate and start finding out if there was any sexual harassment within the Senate? Will they? From what the woman said, she said Akpabio took her to her house. If I want you to read the story, you say Akpabio took her to his own house and showed her around his house. You understand what I'm saying now? Yeah. And again, the husband said he's aware of this thing, and this thing didn't happen this year. Are you also telling me that me as a man, somebody will harass my wife sexually, and I'll be aware of it, and then I'll keep quiet? What am I trying to do? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying now. So for me, I'm not saying Akpabio should not be probed. They want to probe him in the circumstance or in the peripheral of the event that has happened, where it has happened. It's not the Senate. This thing has nothing to do with the Senate, if you ask me. Nobody should attach personality.
If you're saying this does not have anything to do with the Senate, well, Natasha was being asked in the national television, the reason why she thinks that happened, because in the Senate she was saying that that she's been maligned by the Senate president, right? That she's been humiliated. That is why she had to be sent back. She has to be given the back seat, right, in the Senate. That was her reason. That was what she was saying. That she kept on being maligned. She kept on being harassed by the being humiliated by the Senate president. The reason why she feels she's experiencing this from the Senate president is because of his advances, the advances he has made to her. Now, this is where it links to the Senate, right? She was given her reason that, okay, she's been humiliated because she felt she was being humiliated to be sent, to go take the back seat. So she felt she was being humiliated. And that's what she said. That's when she said that the reason why she's being humiliated is because of her refusal or to give in to the advances, sexual advances by the Senate president. So that's where the Senate comes in now.
Mr. Peter, excuse me. If Akpabio were not to be a senator and he chooses to harass Natasha sexually, and Natasha didn't like it, and then went into a court case with him, would Akpabio not be roped in?
Well, that's a different case. And just like you said, if he wasn't a Senate. But in this case, he was a Senate, and she feels like she's feeling that, okay, because he is the Senate, you know, that is why he is, you know, he's taking such actions as regards to her. You know, she also went ahead, you know, referring this to university lecturers, that's what they do to students in order to get grades and all of that. She was just giving an example as regards to that.
You see,
okay,
even a thief will give you reasons why he stole. Okay, he'll give you reasons why he stole. Okay, would that be genuine enough?
Well, depending on what he stole and the reason
it will never be genuine enough. There is nobody that sees that his reasons will be genuine enough. That is when you caught the person red-handed. Okay. In this case, we are talking about allegations and counter allegations. You understand what I'm saying now? Now, I'm not saying Akpabio may not have done what Natasha said, because of course I'm not there. But what I'm saying is it has nothing to do with the Senate. What I'm saying, it has nothing to do with the Senate.
But she was saying that
leave what she's saying now. If Akpabio says the same thing she's saying, that she also harassed him sexually, will you also say that she should step aside from Senate and they should probe her?
Of course.
You will say she should do so.
She will be probed now, because he that alleges must prove.
That is that incident, as I'm talking to you now, that incident, sexual harassment, as I know, is not tied to Senate transaction or to anybody can harass anybody, whether you're in the Senate or not. Okay. What Natasha is doing, she knows why she's doing it. I'm not saying Akpabio didn't do what she said or he did. I am not there, so I cannot hold brief for her. I cannot hold brief for Akpabio as well. But I think that she's just holding on to the Senate. She's just holding on to issues of women. We say they rape you here, lecturers did this. The question will be, what about these women that are actually going naked in the street harassing men up and down? Would you cite such example that men are bad? Oftentimes we see them, we shout, we talk. In fact, I'm even of the opinion that the federal government, the Senate, should even put a law that any woman who dresses naked, they should rape her. Because sometimes they dress so loose that you virtually see their privacies. It's just that the clothes is just making a contour of it all, which is very, very bad. You understand? I'm not holding brief for Akpabio, I'm not holding brief for Natasha. I'm saying in my own opinion, go about your case, make your point. This central senator said that they lie. This is not what is obtainable in this place. Come up and say it. I want to believe at that instance he was repeating it. Akpabio should have understood that the only way he could correct it is jokingly just say, I mean, somehow end it up with saying, my honorable colleagues, I apologize. The question now is, did Natasha also realize that she did so? Because in the Senate, if you don't sit where they ask you, whether they are maligning you or they are pushing you aside, go there and make your case. The thing is, if you don't sit there, you won't say anything. You say you're raising order. You come up, you say they are maligning you. You come, you say, whether they want to kill you or not, go there first. It is only when you sit there, you want to talk, they don't allow you to talk. This your case will be so strong that even me sitting here will support you. Because I'm not saying it because it is Natasha. I'm saying it because I saw her colleagues read it out to her. That's where I'm even holding this from. Even somebody who is from the same Kogi state from her is saying that this is what is obtainable. So the Senate president was not wrong in any way. So if you are now attributing it to sexual harassment or whatever, I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. And why did you leave this in this long? And you are bringing it up now. That's also an issue I have with her. That happened, I don't argue with it. Why did you leave it? Why did you leave it? Why are you waiting for small things like this and then you hold on to it? You did something wrong and you're holding on to it. That's where I'm going to. I'm not saying that
if I also get you correctly, you just said something now. So you also think that Natasha should also face disciplinary action for disobedience?
Yes, because she should. Because her colleagues spelled it out. If it was only Akpabio that, said don't talk until you get to that place, I should also consider Akpabio. Why would you not allow your colleague to talk? Okay. You understand what I'm saying now? But in this case, after everything, her own colleagues had to apologize on her behalf. You understand what I'm saying now? Okay. So and they read it out. I had it. I don't know if you didn't hear it. I had it. If it is so, why did you not go there and make your case? What was so difficult and so challenging that you should just go there and make your case? I don't know if you understand me now. You can even sue him. If you can sue him, you can sue him on that look, this man is oppressing you. After you have sat there and he didn't, you can sue him. Again, do you think that if she had left that state, probably she didn't say anything at that point in time, if she had left to the other state, do you think that she would have been allowed to say what she wants to say? Because already, the Senate president was already reading out penalties, her suspension, this thing. Why are we trying to cut a tree from the middle? You just climb halfway and you want to cut it from that place. Don't you know you are also endangering yourself? Okay. Before Akpabio said what he said, I watched that in severally. They tried to let her know that you have to sit there and talk. But in her own way, she refused. All right. It was the refusal disturbing the proceedings of the Senate transaction. Akpabio wanted the Senate transaction to continue. She didn't want it to continue because she wanted her voice to be heard. And as a Senate president, he said, okay, since you don't want it this way, let it be like this. I even remember when somebody was trying to explain what actually happened. Another person said, but who started it? And then the man sat down and said, okay, if you want it to go like that, let us leave it like that. Let's see if there will be peace. Well, just so before we go, Regina, now have time again. Just this last question I would want to ask you. Again, don't you think that the integrity of the Senate president is at stake right now? In fact, that's even where I'm angry with Akpabio. You understand what I'm saying now? Right. That's why I'm angry with him. Because at the end, I'm not angry with him because, he did what Natasha said. But like, somehow, he has allowed irrelevant thing to start, making him look like he does not know what he's doing. Whereas he's doing the right thing. Okay. You understand? So by this, he allowed this matter to. But you can also hold him firmly for it that he caused it. You know how people behave. You can't stop somebody from behaving the way he wants to behave. For instance, now, something just happened, sometime in the past. And out of overreaction, I overreacted. And that business, I didn't do it again. But 1 or 2 years later, they called me back. And they explained to me why they had to call me back. They understood that, yes, I was trying to make a point, but I overreacted. And I saw it that indeed I overreacted. So will you say because I overreacted, they should have allowed me? No, there are consequences for everything. So if Akpabio was trying to pacify the situation and the woman didn't allow this situation to calm down, are you trying to tie Akpabio's hand that, okay, sit down, let her sit on you, whatever she says? Is she the Senate president? Yeah? She should listen to her leader. Even if you have twins in the house, there is somebody that is called the leader. You should just listen. Even if it didn't go down well with you, there is always a way to present this matter. All this while you have felt that he's maligning you, he's pushing you here and there. You didn't say anything. You didn't say anything, whereas there is a way to go about it. When you notice that this thing is going on, instead of it to allow it to grow this big, you start pursuing it. So that, in fact, that will even be good for you. You are showing people, you're telling people that, look, this is what is on ground. So if Akpabio is indeed molesting you, he too will know that, okay, oh, this woman had actually known that now I'm molesting her. So he will not tread with caution. But you allow it to go and wait for it to explode like an atomic bomb. Well, that still remains allegedly until proven, until we have evidence for that. Thank you so much, Comrade Kingsley. That's all we can take on today's episode of ATN Politics. Do appreciate your time and insightful analysis. Thank you so much. Well, this is where we wrap it up on today's episode of ATN Politics. Remember, we are open for advert placements, news and events coverage, personality, society and political interviews, products, service promotion, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you so much for watching. I am Victor Peter. ATN Genz comes up next.
The 2025 anniversary lecture of Atlantic Television Network and Wish 99.5 FM. theme, Imperative of Private Media in Sustainable Development.
Keynote speaker, Professor Tony Iradia, erudite scholar and broadcast guru. Chairman, Professor Umar Kart, President, Society of Broadcasters, Nigeria, and Vice Chancellor, Federal University of Kashiri, Gombe State. Panelists, Chief Honorable Arthur C. Kalabo, Information and Communication Expert, Dr. Haka Tuwait, Lecturer, Public Relations, Media and Communication, Dr. Bekwele Lawrence DK, Lecturer, Marketing Communication and Public Relations, Opaka Dakuba, Chairman, South-South, Union of Journalists, Susan Serekara Nwikana, Chairperson, Nawach River State, Chief Host, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, Esquire, FSM, FINC, FNIMN, MNIM, ARPA, MIPPA, Chairman, Morrison Group. March 2025. Venue, Dimeji Banquet Hall, Gay Place Hotel, Kilometer 5 East West Road by Obiri Flyover, Rumosi, Port Harcourt. Time is 11 a.m.
Call Kehinde Paul Obofadi on 0802 301 5728. That is 0802 301 5728 or info@atlanticnetwork.tv or at wishfm995ph.com. You can also call Laurentia Ogu on 0818 344 6746. That is 0818 344 6746 or lead content at atlanticnetwork.tv. This is signed by management.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought a very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.